there. We see OT's dad right away. We shake his hand, introduce us and shit. And then he leaves, and like not even a minute later comes back and shit. It's like OT wants to talk to y'all. So that would have been time to turn up, bro, if I didn't get the cheese. But that's a whole different story and shit.
Alright guys, I'm AOA, this AOA the shit. Today we are back with Is That Mark?
What's good?
Yes sir, yeah. Appreciate you coming out here, man.
Appreciate you having me, bro.
Yes sir, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Soundbar Studios, for the location. Shout out to them.
Yes sir.
But talk about it, man. Seems like you and your crew had a little bit of you weren't allowed to perform, or what was going on with the OT Mexican or Mexican OT?
Yeah, we knew about the show for a very long time. Like as soon as we seen that Fort Wayne was bringing out OT, we just knew we had to hop on that shit. We saw that it was gonna be a good crowd. We just knew all around that this is our scenery. This is gonna fit us. This is what we need to do. This is gonna be our next step to push us anywhere further that we need to go. And then so we reached out to his managers and shit. Monsi, Monsi and Sevio and Laguna, they all actually performed for OT last year. So they had they already talked with their managers before, so they kind of already had these contacts on their phones. So once it came over here, we basically just reached out to the same contacts, trying to talk with them. It was kind of like communication was bad the whole time, so like we waiting weeks and shit just to hear responses and shit, and then weeks just to wait for, like, every time we got further, like was talking about contracts and performing and shit, like it just took so long for the shit to actually happen. And once it finally happened, we were like, bet, like this is happening. Like we tried reaching out to other people that like just reaching out to connects, trying to get on the show before even reaching out to OT's people, and we didn't get no look. We didn't even get responses from a lot of people. So for us to actually go around on people and still be able to be on this show and just say fuck everybody, like we still on the show, felt good and all this shit. So we were very hyped about the show and shit. And once we get there, we're trying to get everything in line and shit. We see security guard, he's asking us questions and shit, asking us like who we are and stuff. And then we told him who we talked to, and he basically just called both the managers and told them like what's up. And I asked them what's up, and the managers was like, gave him the green light, like yeah, we talked and shit, is cool. So they took us in there and shit, so we're thinking shit's cool. Like I'm like shit just going smooth, bro. Like everything you would have thought it was gonna be. Like hell yeah, about to perform at Clyde Theater. Like not a lot of rappers done that and shit. They don't even have a lot of rap shows there and all that shit. So we get in there. We see OT's dad right away. We shake his hand, introduce us and shit. And then he leaves, and like not even a minute later comes back and shit. It's like OT wants to talk to y'all. So like still we're like hell yeah, like shit OT, but if I'm about to get a picture or something, make sure I look straight and shit like that, you know. We go in there, we all shake his hand up and shit. And then he was like he's kind of pissed off. He's like who'd you guys go through? Like kind of like he ain't know about any of us, like, well, we weren't even supposed to be there type shit. And we told him and shit that we talked to his managers and shit, and he was kind of just like telling us that like it was Greg Gates was the dude we reached out to, and we were talking with the whole time. And what's it called? He was basically like fuck Greg Gates. So, like as soon as he said like who we go through, and he was like we told him and shit, and he was like fuck Greg Gates. And then that kind of threw us off. Like, what you mean? Like yeah, bro. Like we had a contract. This shit, bro. Like we put money into this shit. We got a flyer made. We put this shit on social media. Like this is like we're here, and everybody. We got people buying tickets for us to be there and shit. Like we there. Like this is happening, and they kind of just like shit. And he's just like fuck Greg Gates. He says it again and shit. And he's like this ain't happening. And then he was like, and that kind of just like, I kind of just stare like I don't really necessarily know what to say and shit. I'm kind of trying to keep it professional and shit, cause like you can't like I don't know, I don't want to necessarily turn up in there. Like it's not a time and place. Like
right, you
don't want to turn up. Yeah, you don't want to. It's a time and place for all that shit. And then it ain't nothing that I could have did that was gonna
change the situation.
Yeah, bro.
He
So
already
I'm
made
just
his
like,
mind up.
yeah. So I'm kind of just like, what the fuck? And shit's just weird. He even called. He called up the managers and shit. Was asking him about it, and he told us that we were supposed to talk to his other manager, which we actually did. We were in a group chat with him, like everything. So everything was checking out. Like we've already did everything. He's trying to tell us that we should have done, but he ain't know about it like the whole time. So I think that's really what pissed him off and shit. Because he called his managers and they even told him like, yeah, like, so what do you want to do? Because like yeah, that's true. Like everything we said checked in. He was like, so what do you want to do? Like it's his final call and shit. He's just like, no. Like fuck no. So that I basically took it as he's just saying he don't fuck with us. Like just straight up, he don't fuck with us, which kind of sucks because like I'm like on music side, like, I'm a fan too, bro. Like I fuck with dope music and shit. Like and even to say later on and shit to work with him, like it's just not like that's just not possible, and it sucks like that because. It's nothing that I did or anything like that, but it's just like shit, it happens and shit. It was kind of weird though, cause he didn't give us the chance to do anything. Like he didn't want to. Like he told us to get our money back. He was like, "You went through the wrong channel. Like, get your money back and shit like that." But like besides that, like,
were you guys able to get your funds back?
Yeah, we got our money back before we left there, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been time to turn up, bro. If I didn't get the cheese, but. But that's a whole different story and shit. Fuck the cheese for real. I was trying to
just it was already a principle. You were already
bro, trying to be on there, trying to get that publicity and shit. But after that, really, we just got walked out of there and shit. It was just weird as fuck, like the whole thing. And then we called Greg Gates and was just like, what the fuck, bro? Like,
have you gone to this guy before?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They had a show last year and shit.
Well,
like,
so specifically the show last year, but no other shows between?
Nah. So I mean, you could say like that is a pretty big gap. Like shit happens and shit. But
not even that. I was